Hey guys, Driven to Chunk here. It's about time that we do a, character showcase. So we'll run a couple maps. As the title says, we're an Azurewrath sacrifice paladin, and honestly, as you'll see from the gear, that this build has a lot of room to grow. As I mentioned, it's centered around the Azurewrath weapon, which got a little love in season 9 with that 18% chance to cast level 25 Holy Light, which is knockback and damage to undead or just enemies in AoE area. But this is one of the more expensive items. Now, granted, if you don't consider the Nihilus and Hellfire Torch, this build is really cheap. We're rocking a Fortitude, really low ED on that, so there's a low there. I've bought a couple Azurewraths for, I think, anywhere from a Maul to a Goal. So there's one Hyrule right there. For our helm, we have Talrashas just for some lifesteal, life, all res, and we put a Topaz in it for some MF. Our Serfs we found, we corrupted it with life after each kill, which is what we also have on our Azurath here. Which life after each kill is very helpful for sacrifice, especially when you can't leech from some of the undead, which we'll go over some of the units to stay away from, at least stay away from using sacrifice, and just switch to zeal if you need to kill them. And most of those are just archers and spectral ghosts, just some certain undeads, but not all undeads are created equal. Anyway, continue with the gear. So we got our Azurath, we got our Talrashas, we got our Seraphs. We bought this for this Haas shield for, I'm trying to think. I don't even think it was an Ohm. I think we bought it for a Goal, I want to say, which this is definitely not even best in the slot for it. We're going to be upgrading a lot of our gear, so I'm probably going to replace this with either an Exile or a Arma Negra or some other shield, because points don't really do much for sacrifice. Moving forward, just some Sandstorm's Trek. Nothing fancy, just get some more faster hit recovery with some resistances. We have our Raven Frost, which we slammed AR on, so we have 305 attack rating, which is really nice. Attack rating is very nice for sacrifice as well, because you don't want to be swinging and missing. And this provides us with our Cannot Be Frozen, of course, with some Cold Absorb. Moving over, we got our Verdungos. We slammed a little extra PDR, very little, so we have 16% PDR. The max is 15 normally. This is just nice for the faster hit recovery, the vitality, especially since we are playing hardcore. We have a dual leech ring that we slam life on. We don't really need dual leech. Mana is not really an issue with this since we are life builds, and sacrifice takes 3% damage to self to use, which usually you can negate through other forms of regeneration, unless you're attacking certain undead, as I mentioned. And then for gloves, as we all know, the blue gloves, we got our Laying of Hands, just for increased attack speed and damage to demons, but no real particular reason, just this is what we picked up. Most of this was all solo self-found. Like I said, I bought Mazarath, I bought the Haas, and I bought our Annies, or our Annie and our Hellfire, but we've only been using these in our build for like the last 2 days or so, 2 or 3 days. And again, with these, with the Nihilus Charm and the Hellfire not included, this whole setup is, I don't know, maybe 3 high runes worth, if that. Over on our swap, we have probably the worst CTA on ladder. It's a 2-2-1. It's really bad. It's comical at this point. We found our lidless. We slammed it with attack takes damage, unfortunately. But that's what we got on swap. Over on our mercenary, we did buy a Reaper's Toll for a Mal. We haven't corrupted it yet, just to help us with that amp damage. And then we got our 2-piece Saigons, which 2-piece Saigons is awesome. You know, just a lot of life leech and attack speed. And then we got a gold wrap, more attack speed and MF. Gloom is what I was wearing before. I got my Fortitude, so Gloom's pretty good. You know, that cast dim vision when struck is really nice because it will deal with some of the range damage coming in. And then we got a Crown of Thieves, and that's our mercenary. And he stays alive pretty good. He stays alive pretty well. As far as our charms, we have our Geeds, of course. But mostly we're going to be using max damage AR charms. And we got most of them there. That just helps with basic sheet damage. We got a couple faster hit recovery ones, and I would like to experiment with using magic damage ones, but I don't think it's going to help sacrifice as much as I would like it to, or at least I think it is. Maybe I'm wrong. And then just some basic all res charms, a couple max damage small charms, some life ones, and yeah, pretty simple. All stuff that we found along the way. This is our third character, but we've made the sacrifice thing work as much as possible. So that is our gear. Moving on over to skill points. As most people know, we're using sacrifice, max sacrifice out, max out redemption, max out fanaticism. And then I think I put like maybe 5 or 8 points. I can't remember. I think 5 points into zeal. We put enough into holy shield to make sure that we have max block chance. And then really that's the cool thing about this build is after you max out just those 2 synergies for redemption and fanaticism for sacrifice, you can kind of put them wherever. So we're dumping them into resist lightning to get our max lightning res up, just to help us try to mitigate some of that damage coming in. And you can still put the rest into whatever resistances you want. I have some unallocated points since I haven't respec'd. I put some in the Sanctuary before I got our Azurewrath as we're leveling this character up. Because Sanctuary just helped me dealt with physical physimmunes. And that's a cool thing with this build is that you're a dual damage type. So you got physical and magic, not even just coming from the corpse explosion for a sacrifice. But you also have it from the Sanctuary aura, which is applying magic damage and also reducing enemies' magic resistances by like 5% or something like that, maybe more. And it just adds basic magic damage as well. So even if you run into physical immunes or magic immunes, you have a way to negate it. And then, of course, you have the amp damage from your mercenary to really lower that threshold, and you do a lot of damage. And for people that don't know, that in Project Diablo 2 in this mod, sacrifice has gotten a rework. A deadly attack at the cost of life. Slain monsters explode, dealing overkill damage plus 5% of the corpse life as half physical and half magic. And the area of effect is rather large, and you'll see that even though this isn't the fastest mapper, we still do kind of pulses damage. It just kind of it spreads. It's not a consistent DPS thing. As you'll see on our chart here, our sheet damage looks incredibly low, but that's not telling the whole story. That's not including all that corpse explosion damage that happens after you kill enemies and stuff like that. And you'll see our DPS. We do, I'm pretty sure, get into, I think like 133K was happening. And, it really depends on mob type, and it depends on, map and just density and stuff like that. So you have to play this a little interesting. I know it's not the fastest mapper. The charge ones, the 2-hand variant is really, really good. I don't use Joust, so that will speed things up if they're a player that's more confident than I am to use Joust. But again, we're playing hardcore. This is my third character. I don't mind playing a little slow. So with that, I'm pretty sure we've gone over skills. We've gone over gear. We can go ahead and look at these charts if you want to give a look over that. So we're maxed over on a lot of our reses in case we get hit by Conviction Aura enemy. We're not going to drop to absolutely nothing. We have some DR. We don't have any curse resistance, unfortunately. We don't have any crushing blow, no deadly strike. We have about 15 life leech, which seems to be just all we need for basic enemies. And then if you switch to zeal, it will mitigate that lack of leech on undead or bosses as well. So you do have to switch to zeal, but we have max IAS that we need on all that, only with 50 IAS coming from our gear, and of course we use a fanaticism aura. But yeah, this is a very, in my opinion, pretty mid gear. Like, this isn't very expensive at all, and it's crushing late game stuff. We've done all tier 3 maps and things, and the best maps in my opinion are jungle, sewers, Fall of Chaldeum. We can do those maps in sometimes sub 10 minutes. The other ones that are very popular, like River of Blood, Thrones is okay. Thrones is actually pretty good. Cows, any kind of, some of the bigger open maps are the ones that have a A lot of archers, like skeleton, undead, those ones are a problem. You just have to be careful around them because you will notice that 3% for sacrifice go down if you're not able to life leech. The life after kill mitigates that a little bit because you get healed from that huge AoE explosion that pulses out from your sacrifice damage. But anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and get into some of the maps.
preparations.
Yes, warrior.
Okay, we're going to be wrapping up the map here after we kill this pack of cows. So yeah, 41% increased max life on this map, but it didn't really feel any more difficult. Here's some tips and tricks to keep in mind when dealing with certain undead enemies. Not all undead are created equal. These ones, unravelers, skeletons, you can't leech enough from them with sacrifice, so either kill them with zeal or monsters around them to deal with the AoE. Zombies are fine, though. Shock towers, though, do not use sacrifice on shock towers. Switch to zeal or just avoid them outright entirely, or have your mercenary kill them. Just not worth it. Too much damage coming in. Thanks everyone for watching. If you made it this far, really appreciate it, as well as I appreciate if you like and sub, and all the people who have in the past. Thank you guys a lot. Our next build is going to be a huge upgrade. We're going to try to get a last wish on this guy and have a good one.